We're racing at Thruxton and away they go, and it's not a great start for Tingham. Not a great start. The brake lights didn't come off well at all, and through goes Jake Hill. He does exactly what we thought. He splits the pair as they go in towards Allard for the first time, side by side with Tingham and Camish as they go through and up towards the complex. We're now 3 wide with another Napa car up the inside. Is that Robo? It looks like it. Is it Sutton on the inside as well?
Yeah, Sutton up to 4th, so Tom Pole, Tom Ingram's down to 5th. Rowbottom's up the inside of his teammate Camish. This is allowing Jake Hill to get away as the three Napa Fords fight amongst themselves as they go out of the complex, and it's Ash Sutton looking to the outside of his two teammates up towards Noble Corner, but Jake Hill's got a massive lead, Duncan.
I don't want to say that was a dreadful start by Tom Ingram, but that was a dreadful start for Tom Ingram. The brake lights were still on his car as everybody else were moving, so the repeater light not being friendly is a big sideways moment there for Robo as he goes through the heart of Goodwood, and he's trying to cut off the inside. I think that was Sutton trying to cut off the inside attempts. If it wasn't Sutton, it was Sutton cutting off Tom Ingram as Tom Ingram looked a little bit racy going down towards Church there. As much apex curb as you could possibly chunk out of a touring car was taken by Ash Sutton, but as they come up for the first time into the chicane, look at the lead that Jake Hill has in that Laser Tools Racing West Surrey run BMW. Through they come, everybody being very gentle and nice to each other as they come through. Oh, in towards the tyre bundle goes Andrew Watson, and he was helped there by Adam Morgan. Tyre bundle in the middle. Ronan Pearson goes past 1, 2, 3, 4 as he goes through the chicane there, as he doesn't lift and everybody else does for that tyre bundle, which is in the middle of the track, Josh.
Okay, Jake Hill doesn't want an interruption to this race because he's got nearly a 2-second lead over Camish. Sutton's 3rd, 4th is Ingram, 5th is Chilton, Rowbottom down to 6th. But everyone's going to have to back off. What happened to Dan Rowbottom then round the back of the circuit? He left me in, I think, 3rd position. I wonder if he was the one trying to defend Duncan as he got a bit sideways and has dropped all the way down to 6th position before the safety car came out.
Having a replay of the start there, it just didn't look like a good start for Tingers. It was obviously a great start for the rear-wheel drive BMW, but yes,
I think if it was just that not being able to see the lights quite
I think so. Or is there a slight time difference, Alan, between the repeater and the main?
No, surely
not. You never know. But Tingram getting caught out by the parallax here. I think you're correct there, Josh, actually. That might have been Robo. We'll hopefully get a replay. I thought it was Sutton, though. I thought I was right with the first glimpse. Sutton was very aggressive. Robo was super aggressive at the start through the complex. And we're just having a replay back just now, looking towards that area of the track up towards Noble. But what happened there was side by side in towards the chicane. We know what happens. And Andrew Watson unable to avoid the tyre stack. He was slightly helped there. And there's another replay of one of the West Surrey BMWs now. He was slightly helped there by Adam Morgan because Morgan didn't give him anywhere to go. Watson didn't want to go into the grass, so he kind of gave the tyre stack a bit of a Glasgow kiss there, and that's more than a Thruxton stripe, Alan. Sir Al, that's a full-on Glasgow kiss. So unfortunately, thankfully, no real damage to Andrew Watson. He has carried on as they all make their way round past that stack just now. Pat Blakeney is already starting to roll forward with the telehandler. You can't keep a good man down here, that's for sure, Alan. I did say to Pat last night, I gave him a phone call, I said, what a great job you guys do down here. He goes, oh, thank you very much. And I also said, I commented on his telehandling skills. I'm watching a replay now. I was watching the replay there, Josh, and it cut off just at the moment where Tingram was about to have some sort of manoeuvre. Now, what are they trying to show me here on a replay as they come in towards chicane? This is the Andrew Watson side by side, as you can see with Adam Morgan. Morgan gives him nowhere to go. Watson runs off the track, bump into the barrier. And then Ronan Pearson, everybody else goes the wrong side. Ronan Pearson goes past at least 4 or 5 cars on the exit of that corner. A great bit of heads-up awareness from young Ronan there. And nobody wants to catch a flying tyre barrier as we go on board with Aidan Moffat. But yeah, quick safety car for this one. Josh, we'll be back racing in just a minute or two, but it was a good start round with the complex here.
Yeah, plenty of excitement, and the excitement really came from the 3 teammates at Napa Racing UK battling amongst themselves, which allowed Jake Hill to get away. But obviously, a safety car diminishes that lead that Jake Hill had, which was about 2 seconds. But it seems that Rowbottom was the one that was sort of forced out amongst those 3 Ford Focus STs, and he's dropped down to 6. So watch out for Rowbottom trying to progress. And of course, the other big loser, as you said at the time, Tom Ingram, didn't make the best of starts from pole position, and he got back to 4th, but that's much lower down than he'd like to be.
You know what? They're trying to show us a replay of that movement with Chilton, with Tingram, and it could have been Robo. Robo was on the outside of Tom Chilton going in toward, not Chilton, outside of Tingram and Chilton actually, going in towards Church. Chilton then got him on the brakes in towards the complex. Oh, there was a little bit of side-to-side contact as well. Josh Cook was the next man homing in there. So it just looked like Robo, unfortunately, he was just muscled out and shuffled back. Maybe, at Thruxton, all you have to do is half lift out the accelerator round the back of the circuit, and then that hurts you towards the end of the straight as well. So, lights still on the safety car just now as Scott Stringfellow brings the Porsche safety car round with the new high-intensity lights, if I'm not mistaken, Sir Al. That's what you were telling us yesterday. These lovely lights on
they're
that
good,
Porsche.
aren't they?
Oh, they're very good, yes. I can see them all the way from Village.
They're new for this year.
Aha.
Do you know the doctors saw it and said, well, OK, we want those in blue for our car as well.
Everybody wants something that somebody else has got, don't they?
Exactly.
It's exactly that. I'm looking at Robo as he passes me there. He's already got a couple of Thruxton stripes on that car. And Josh, just to let you know, the Thruxton stripes are the marks in the front of the bumpers from kissing the tyre stack. So you see the front left of Robo's car is already pretty much striped up. Ronan Pearson has got himself into 15th place already. He has gone from the back up to 15th, and a lot of that was made up at the chicane when he went past Sumpton, Halstead, Osborne and Watson and Smiley as well. So Ronan really did make hay through that little area.
Yeah, the tyre bundles and getting your car as close to them is sort of the equivalent of the Monaco Armco, isn't it? You want to get as close to them and, as you say, brush them enough so perhaps there's a bit of tyre mark on your car, but not hard enough that you put them into the middle of the track, as we saw just there. But it's the new way to go quickly on sort of the modern way of making sure people don't cut chicanes, but obviously we don't want big damage. We haven't got big damage to the cars. Andrew Watson's still going, but obviously that's needed. The safety car, is it in this time, do we think?
Yep, safety car lights have just gone out, and the safety car accelerates down towards Church, and Scott Stringfellow brings it back through Church in full control, but under great speed. And we're now looking all eyes at Jake Hill. Jake Hill is very much in control of this now. Jake Hill in the Laser Tools Racing with MB Motorsport, BMW for West Surrey Racing. Stringfellow comes in towards the chicane, and Jake Hill just still weaving to keep the heat in those tyres to generate that temperature, which is so important. And it was a great start for Jake Hill. You've got to say, the way he went away from the start, he split the two exactly what he wanted to do. No doubt Heidi will try and catch up with Tingers if he gets on the podium for this one. But it's not done yet. We'll find out exactly what was wrong with that start. But it was still a decent start, but just not as good as we would have expected.
I think he already set out his stall when I interviewed him, didn't he?
Yes, here we go, over through the club chicane, and Jake Hill now pulls the pin. Away he goes. Hill from Camish, from Sutton, from Tingham, Chilton, Robo already starting to come underneath Tom Chilton. Brave move from Dan Robottom. They're side by side in towards Allard, and through on the inside goes Dan Robottom. A little bit of a kiss towards Chilton as he goes past, and Josh Cook follows through as well.
Yeah, so there's a gap between 4th and 5th, but with Robottom a position up, and Cook's up the inside. Adam Morgan is trying to get past Chilton too, but Chilton's fighting back on Josh Cook now. But Cook, then, who's won 10 races here at Thruxton, he's there in what is 6th position, so 2 places lost for Tom Chilton. That great move from Dan Robottom, but just like on the original start, Jake Hill is absolutely driving away. Not as big of a gap as he had on that original start, but he's driving away from Dan Camish.
New race distance of 18 laps, so we put a couple of laps on because of those safety car laps right now as you ride on board through the back of the circuit with Adam Morgan looking at the back of Tom Chilton. There wasn't a lot of gap between Chilton and Morgan there either as they come down and in towards the fastest corner in the UK, Church, and we're riding on board with Tom Ingram on the big screen, if you can see that, ladies and gents, and that's Ash Sutton bouncing his way through there. But look, once again, the BMW has absolutely bolted at the front here, and Jake Hill looking really good as 2nd, 3rd and 4th all come together, not literally, but all close up in towards the club chicane with Dan Camish ahead of Sutton and Ingram. Everybody else managing to get through without any issue this time. Great to see Andrew Watson still going. He's got a slight reshaped bonnet, but no real lasting damage after that contact, as we see Adam Morgan going past Tom Chilton in towards Allard. Good move from Adam.
Yeah, so Tom Chilton's restart's been a bit like Tom Ingram's original start, but he's fighting back now. It's Chilton. He's back on the inside. There's contact behind. Colin Turkington gets turned sideways. The driver who's second in the championship. He was under pressure from Aaron Taylor-Smith. Turkington gathered it back together. The former world champion Rob Huff is in that battle as well. But for Tom Chilton, he managed to get back ahead of Adam Morgan and back into 7th.
Yeah, Colin Turkington being roughed up there in his 20th year of touring car racing, running the number 20. Turks, well, getting roughed up by the youngsters as well. Alan Taylor-Smith very much in there just now in 10th place. He had good pace yesterday. Watch out for that car coming through. Watch out for the number 40. Power Max Astra making its way towards the front. Mr. Thruxton, Josh Cook, sits in 6th place just now, but give it time. Give it time. Don't get too hung up on where he is just now. as they make their way back up into the club chicane. I have to say that Dan Cam has pulled away from his teammate behind him, Ash Sutton, and making his way back up towards the sharp end just now. Fastest lap of the race goes to Jake Hill with a 1:16.246 as he goes across the line. And Chilton, well, he's now got himself embroiled in a battle with Morgan Turkington. It's going to be Taylor Smith and Rob Huff, and that battle's pulled them back from the guys just ahead of them, and that's Josh Cook.
And Camish is going after Jake Hill. The gap has been more than halved, I'd suggest. So the Ford Focus ST of Dan Camish, a car that's been so successful here over the last 2 years, is catching Jake Hill. The BMW's not won here over the last 2 seasons. Meanwhile, some side-by-side action a bit further back. Chris Smiley goes up ahead of Daryl De Leon. So the Cupra... the two Cupras there switch positions towards the rear of the field, and there's a big slide behind them for Scott Sumpton as he tried to gain a position there as well. So as you expect in the BTCC, there's battles at the lead, there's battles at the back as well. Yeah,
there's something happening absolutely everywhere on this Thruxton track just now, but at the front, the lap time comparison last time through, 16.8 for Hill, 16.3 for Camo. Dan Cam is very much on the hunt. We said that as he came through Woodham Hill last time, and Josh echoes that at the complex here to see him closing up towards the back. But now on this lap, it's actually going the other way. And Tingram side by side with Sutton. He's trying to do the Jeff Smith mini line round outside. That's not going to work. You'd have to be up very early in the morning to go round the outside of Ash Sutton on the brakes here. Tingers showing his intent though, and that's cost him time through the chicane, and that's starting to let Robo get a good exit from there. And Dan Rowbottom now looking at the back of Tom Ingram as they go through Allard and head in towards the complex once more.
So yeah, the gap's gone back up, hasn't it? So Jake Hill pulling clear once more from Camish. Then we got Sutton, Ingram and Rowbottom who's closed in on that battle. Then Josh Cook is 6th. 7th is Chilton. Turkington behind his teammate Adam Morgan, who's 8th, and Aaron Taylor-Smith completes the top 10. Big challenge from Ronan Pearson, who's trying to get himself up ahead of Andrew Watson. So that battle continues. Two drivers trying to progress after the qualifying issue for Pearson, after Watson's off on lap 1. They're both trying to get back up the positions, Duncan. Yeah, we're seeing a replay on the big screens just now of is that Mikey Doble going past. Yes, Mikey Doble making his way past, and that would be Aidan Moffat on the run up the hill towards the chicane last time round. So that was a pure power pass, unless there was a slight issue for Aidan as he left Church. But the battle that was coming from Camish, or the attempted battle, has kind of drifted back a bit. And because of last time, Tom Ingram's eagerness to try and go round the outside of Sutton, that's really cost him, and he was so slow through the exit of the chicane, it's put him back into the clutches of the rejuvenated and restyled Dan Rowbottom, who looks really good here. He likes Thruxton as well, and all that time though, Mr. Thruxton, Josh Cook, sits in a very lonely 6th place where he's gathering good points. That's what he will really be out to do. As we see everybody else going round. Pearson still in 15th place right now. Ronan Pearson starting from the back off the grid, but it's Hill, Camish and Sutton, your top 3 as we go into lap 9 of 18. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, how Camish sort of drops back for a lap and then he starts to catch again, and that's what he's doing at the moment. That might all be down to the hybrid and when different drivers are using it. Pearson has another big look on Andrew Watson into Cobb Corner. We saw that in the Carrera Cup, and it just doesn't seem to work because you have to pinch your line, and that's where Ronan Pearson couldn't quite get through. But yeah, I just wonder here, Duncan, where drivers are using a hybrid, they can either catch or they can pull away, and whoever runs out of hybrid earlier might be in trouble towards the end of the race. Well, Sutton and Ingram have no hybrid left right now, so they are under the attack from Rowbottom with 5 laps of hybrid remaining. So that's exactly what they are up against right now. A lap for Hill and 2 laps for Camish. So there's a lot of work to be done here by Sutton and Ingram, and really you have to think Robo must be in a bit of the driving seat if he can maximise that hybrid and the performance from that Napa Racing Ford Focus as they come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then a bit of a gap back to Josh Cook, as we said. Oh, looking at this, Aidan Moffat comes in. He's got Ronan Pearson trying to tuck underneath him as well. Andrew Watson gets a slight love tap from Ronan Pearson. Moffat, Watson, Pearson and Osborne all go through together. That's a good battle. Now they're battling for 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th as they head round to you, Josh. Yeah, that's the real dice, isn't it? So we'll keep an eye on that as the rest of the pack make their way down here into Campbell Corner. Yeah, there's a big big defence from Andrew Watson because Ronan Pearson was looking to lunge down the inside. It didn't work out, so Sam Osborne in the 4 for the Napa Fords now comes up the inside of Pearson. He's up the curb, but he can't quite go through. Pearson saw him coming, gave him room, and then they go out of what is the right-hander there at Cobb Corner, through Seagrave up towards Noble, and Osborne's back on the inside through the left-hander and goes ahead, but he's very wide going out of the corner, out of my view in towards Goodwood, hopefully for Sam Osborne. He kept on the road. Yeah,
as we've seen a replay on the big screen there of the Watson and Pearson contact coming in towards the club chicane, but well said, Josh, as they make their way round the back of the circuit and then up towards the complex once more. Jake Hill with a steady 1.1 second lead at the front. It looks like that may have grown over this lap. He looks good in the BMW. I said it from the first free practice session, the way he gets through the chicane, the rotation of the car, it deals with the bounce as well, and it just rotates through the heart of the complex chicane, or the club chicane, sorry, so well. We're back on board now with Adam Morgan, who again is looking at the back of Tom Chilton as they head off round towards Allard for another time, and Turkington sits there in 9th place, just with no hybrid, just got to see what's happening in front of him. Dan Robottom still with 5 laps of hybrid in his pocket, and he could chase down Sutton and Ingram towards the end of this race.
Yeah, that's going to be one battle to watch. Rob Huffer has just had a look up here down into Campbell, but it didn't affect his race too much. Andrew Watson now is on to terms with Aidan Moffat. So you've got a couple of the Toyota Corollas there battling over what is 13th position. The best of the Toyotas, though, up in 6th place. Josh Cook, who won so many races in Hondas here over the years and going well again as the best Toyota driver in 6th place, but he's fallen away now from those top 5 who are separated by less than 4 seconds after 10 laps.
As we see them coming through Church and heading up towards the top of Woodham Hill just now, but yeah, the hybrid's going to come in towards us at the end of it. Right now, Josh Cook is on the hybrid, using that power all the way through up Woodham Hill as well. Robo is holding on to his. Robo needs to try and gain the gap or close the gap down and then utilise the hybrid. He doesn't want to use his hybrid to actually get the gap down, because then he'll be stuck with nothing else to use. He needs to try and close that down on pure pace and then use the hybrid to attack. That's what it's all about here, but right now he's unable to make any inroads towards the back of Sutton and Ingram, and still Jake Hill has 1 lap of hybrid, as does Dan Camish. They're holding on to that for the end just in case right now. Lap times down into the 1:17s, but still the fastest lap of the race, a 1:16.2, and that goes the way of Jake Hill in the lead.
Yeah, Jake Hill's lead about a second. Camish was a touch quicker on the last lap, and he's bringing Sutton and Ingram with him, so we'll see if they can close in before the end to the rear-wheel drive BMW. No other challenges through the pack, so everyone's through the complex safely, Duncan, with Jake Hill still leading.
As we try and catch up with more onboard footage and more replays. There's a lot of replays from this race. There's lots of little things, Josh, that are happening just behind where we seem to be commentating on. Just little love taps and little nudges. But as they come through Church just now, it's very much the way of Jake Hill as he accelerates. He'll be loving this, looking in his mirror, grabbing gears. But no doubt he will not be doing a Sunday drive, but he will be just focusing on maintaining that gap, making sure he hits every one of his marks. And as I've said so many times before, the chicane is his really, really strong part, I feel. And in Camish, though, well, it'll be a different state of affairs for Dan Cam. He'll be looking in his mirror thinking, oh no, here he comes, and here he comes, Ash Sutton, very much so. Camish, though, has a little bit of hybrid. Robo used hybrid on that last lap to see if he could bridge the gap, but it really hasn't helped him out too much. He still sits 2.3 seconds off the back of Tom Ingram.
Sutton then now closer to Camish as they turn their way through the complex. Sutton's had 7 podiums in the 9 races this year, leads the championship, but is yet to win, and it almost looks like that might be yet another podium coming Ash Sutton's way in this first race of the day. Adam Morgan and Colin Turkington, the 2 BMW teammates, are nose to tail. They're just behind Tom Chilton, but for Ash Sutton, he has finished in 3rd position in 5 of the races this season, Duncan. It almost looks like it might be a 6.
Black and orange flag for Scott Sumpton. So the black and orange flag, meaning Scott Sumpton must get off the track and back into the pit lane. He's got a mechanical flag.
And he's got damage to the front left corner.
I would imagine he's got something dragging on the track, and the technical team not happy with how that car is looking, so they want to bring him back in right now. As 1, 2, 3 and 4, Tom Ingram just not able to keep the pace of the top 3 just now as they come through the chicane. Is Dan Cam starting to get back towards Jake Hill? It was a second last time they crossed the line. With 5 laps to go this time as they cross the line, the gap at the front is now under a second. It's only half a second, so he's taken half a second out of him on that last lap. Dan Cam is coming. He maybe used his hybrid on the last lap. He's now hybrid free for the remainder of the race. Jake Hill still has a little boost in his pocket though.
Yeah, so they're right together now, Duncan. Those top three cars, they all hop over the curb there through Cobb Corner. I think we just saw a replay on the big screens of a change for 13th because Andrew Watson has got himself up ahead of Aidan Moffat. We said that was a good battle, and they've got Ronan Pearson and Sam Osborne joining them once more. So that's a 4-car battle for 13th position. Andrew Watson gaining positions again after that first lap off at the club chicane, and I think with that damage you've got the car into the pit lane possibly.
Yeah, it's got something in the pit lane just now. The car is up on the air jacks, the bonnet is up, and the team go to work on that car just now as we then spin our eyes back to the right hand side and look way into the distance and see Jake Hill with the lovely laser blue glinting in the sunlight as it climbs through Woodham Hill. It looks stunning in the distance, and he's got a little bit of a comfortable gap now. You see they're right together, they've actually stretched out a little bit. Whether Jake's really put the hammer down on this lap across the line. He did a 1:17.3 last time round. Let me have a look at his lap time this time as he crosses the line. As Jake Hill answered Dan Camish, 1:17 flat, 1:17.6 for Camel. So Dan Camish has obviously maybe used the hybrid on that lap to bring himself back into play, but it's not working. We now look back to see Aidan Moffat and Andrew Watson getting all close and cuddly in towards the club chicane, and Ronan Pearson stands back and watches those guys and just waits for the pieces to go his way and trying to pick them up. Difficult weekend so far for those two guys, but there's still more racing to be done today. Lap 15 of 18 at Thruxton.
Yeah, for those guys, it's all about getting into a position ready for the end of race 2 if they can get into the reverse draw for race 3 and get a good result, just like Ronan Pearson did at Brands Hatch. He started the weekend badly with an incident and it worked his way through, which gave him the reverse grid for race 3, and then he won his first Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship race. And I'm sure that's a similar thought on those minds of those who were perhaps on the outside of the top 10, trying to gain positions for this race and then continue that progress in race 2.
Yeah, Huffy in 11th place right now, only 2/10 for second behind ATS and Taylor Smith, who had great speed through free practice 1 and 2, but unfortunately after his qualifying, even in the early parts of qualifying, he had great speed. After that shunt at the exit of Noble, the pace just hasn't been there. It's just not materialised into race pace, that's for sure. Jake Hill stamping his authority over this now as we look into the garage on the big screen there. We get a good look at the Laser Tools MB side of the West Surrey Racing Garage, and Jake Hill no, we got somebody else. Jake Hill 1.3 seconds up the road now as they head round towards you. Camish only 3/10 over Sutton. The thing is, will Sutton have a pop at his teammate? It's getting close, Josh.
Yeah, he's right there as he turns to the complex now, but he's a little bit further ahead of Tom Ingram is Ash Sutton, so he doesn't have to look in his mirror so much, but as it is his teammate that's ahead, you'd imagine there wouldn't be a big bold move, but we saw the battle between them earlier. Rob Huff has round the outside of him, Mikey Doble. Doble can't quite get through in the second of the Astras, but that was a great attempt from Mikey Doble, and two drivers have got such different history. Rob Huff, who's been racing touring cars for over 20 years, a former world champion, and then Mikey Doble, who really came through club racing into the BTCC and has shown great pace and shows you the kind of talent there is around the British motorsport scene.
Huge talent in all the classes we have here, but none greater than what we see on track just now. This is fabulous. These are the best drivers in saloon car racing in the UK, and look at Ash Sutton lining up a manoeuvre on his teammate Dan Camish, who has been in and out of touring cars. He's a race winner. He knows what to do here. Is the ill effects of feeling not too well over the past couple of days starting to show for him? Robo still has 2 laps of hybrid remaining. You can see he's the only illuminated panel next to his number board on the left hand side as they go through. Josh Cook says he has 2 laps remaining. Oh, he's actually on the hybrid now as he goes across the line. And Chilton still with Morgan and Turkington behind him as they cross the line. Then Taylor Smith, Huff, Doble, and back to Andrew Watson.
Yeah, Rowbottom's just fallen too far away from the top 4 now, hasn't he? So he can use his hybrid for the last 2 laps.
Yeah, black and white flag for 33. You had my ooh there, didn't you? Yeah. Black and white warning flag. Car 33, which is Adam Morgan, and car 77, which is Sam Osborne, Josh.
So that'll be for track limits. So that means Adam Morgan's just got to be a little bit careful now. And he's got his teammate right behind him, Colin Turkington. Adam Morgan, who's had great success here at Thruxton. He's had 5 victories in the past. But he's got his teammate, Colin Turkington, who was a superstar at Brands Hatch, dominating 2 races there right behind him. So with a lap and a half to go, I wonder if that might be a change before the end.
A lap and a half to go, and Tom Chilton is very much on the hybrid just now, as is Aaron Taylor Smith and Mikey Doble, as well as Robo. Just had a quick flash of it there to try and see if there's anything he can do. And look at this, Tom Chilton has worked so hard on this last lap and a half to get back up towards the back of Ash Sutton. One thing's for sure, if Sutton thought he was in for a comfortable run towards the podium, that has just gone out the window, because Tom Ingram is very, very much there now, half a second back from Sutton as we go on to the last lap of the race here at Thruxton. Race number 1 for the Quickfire British Touring Car Championship for round number 10 as they head towards the complex for the last time.
Yeah, and Ingram was really late on the break, so he's now on terms with Ash Sutton, the two drivers who won the championship over the last 2 seasons, then head out onto the flat-out part of the circuit up towards Noble Corner, and Ingram will be trying to pick up a toe. They know that this is the last lap, so their tyres won't be used anymore. So if there's any grip left, Duncan, they'll be using it now.
They will be using everything now. Hybrid grip, they'll be pulling the wing mirrors, and they'll be doing absolutely everything they can to try and generate that little bit more speed. But the man in the driving seat right now is Jake Hill as he heads down in the Laser 2 racing with MB Motorsport, West Surrey run BMW. And if anything, out the back of the circuit is where Tingram doesn't have the pace right now. It looks like these will be the finishing orders as they come up, with Hill leading, Camish in second and Sutton in third. There's a nice gap back behind Sutton towards Tom Ingram, and I can't see that changing as they come through. Round of applause, flags in the air, arms in the air. It's a win for Jake Hill as the team run across from the pit lane garage. Hill wins. In second place is Dan Camish. In third place, Ash Sutton, and then Tom Ingram comes home in fourth. We get everybody else in and through the last chicane. Do we have anybody tripping over the top? No, we don't. Adam Morgan doesn't come under attack from Colin Turkington, and Aaron Taylor-Smith holds Mikey Doble at bay only just. Everybody else now coming through and finishing the race, but the top 3 once again. Jake Hill wins from Dan Camish and Ashley Sutton. Ash Sutton, the champion, defending reigning champion, comes home in a fine third place here with, I've got to say, minimal hybrid all the way through that race. Tom Ingram in the special number 100 livery car comes home in fourth place ahead of number 32 Dan Rowbottom.